Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakar, Kodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathen. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the great millstone, coming at you with another lesson in truth, good news, which is the gospel. And this video is inspired by a video that I watched the moment I opened my eyes with Jim at Chicago, St. Benji 2. And it was every mouth must be stopped. And he was talking about, the law. And I just wanted to kind of lamb back on some of the things he had said. Because, let me go to Judges real quick. Because he spoke on how we can't keep the law. It's impossible for us to keep the law. For these people who are screaming the law, first of all, we're in this flesh, and our flesh will always win to a certain extent. All right. And secondly, as I'm going to read some scriptures to verify that we're not in a position to do the things that are necessary for our laws to stay intact. All right, which is why we need the mercy of Yahushai. Especially, for the foolishness of these Old Testament only, these Torah only Israelites, or those who try, or these people who try to deny Yahushai, who the world ignorantly and fraudulently called Jesus Christ. But, or Yeshua, those are fraudulent names. And they know it, but they use those names, they've pushed those names into the masses anyway. But in the book of Judges 5 and 11, let's go to Judges real quick. It reads, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers, and that's talking about the upcoming destruction, all right, in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh, even the righteousness acts toward the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates. So the truth of the matter is, we only can rehearse the righteous acts. All right, and that's what we do, because the law is our school, is our guide to pleasing the Lord. Why? Because the law have dominion over us all the days of our life. And it tells you that in the New Testament. That's in Romans 7 and 1. It reads, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth. So for these people to have fraudulently taught this false doctrine that the law is done away with, or that we don't have to keep it anymore, that's how you stay in the grace of the Lord, by rehearsing the righteous acts, by trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. And when you do break one, right, knowingly or unknowingly, you be sorrowful and repentful, and strive not to offend. Those are the type of men, all right, that the Lord is looking for to serve him. All right, to be a part of you're just not going to be one who just constantly break the law. All right, and then you think that you're going to be okay. The Lord knows my heart, as you spooning that that soup with pork in it to your lips. That soup with the shrimp in it to your lips. With the abominable foods that the Lord, that's a part of the law, that we're not to eat. Okay? But you got to understand, we're living behind enemy lines with an enemy that knows that if you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, if you start calling on the true name of the Lord, things will not go in his favor. And look at the world today now that we have been doing that. Our power is actually moving upon the earth and moving against our enemies and destroying their kingdom, literally right before our eyes. Okay, but let's go to Exodus. Let's go back in time. This is Exodus 12, being that we're in the week of the Passover, no leaven. Remember that, brothers. You know, Akwath, Akim, Akwath. Remember, don't slip up. Don't forget what time we're in. No yeast, nothing with yeast in it for the next 6 days. All right. But this is Exodus 12, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. Read to about 11, and it reads, "Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats." So it's lawful to have a sheep or a goat. And the thing is that how many of us actually have access to meat where we know that it's a year old and it's unblemished? Because we're not being sold alive kids. All right, kid meaning a goat or sheep. Hence the reason why we really shouldn't call children kids, because that's, kids are for slaughtering or eating. And unfortunately here in America, in the West, that kind of happens. All right, little side note there. "And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. The whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening." All right. And it says, "And they shall take the blood and strike it on the two sides of the post and the upper post of the houses wherein they shall eat it." So no one in all of Israel, all right, and I'm not talking about the imposters over in the land of Israel as prophesied. They're only doing their part, saying that they're us and all that. They're just doing their role. It's prophesied that they would do that and who they are. So take comfort that they're there and that they're fulfilling. We get angry sometimes, but take comfort that they're there and fulfilling prophecy. And that, while they're pretending to be us and the whole world knows that they're not at this point. But, they just control the finances and, so many things that a lot of people still aren't ready to speak up. But they're getting there. But it says, and they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat. Because we did that. All right, that portion. Yeah, but we didn't pick it out while it was alive. We didn't. We don't know that it was on the 14th day. And we definitely weren't in a position where we could take the blood that was drained from it and strike it over the doorways and the posts. All right, and knowing that means that all you heathen and all you 2/3 will have no covering when the Lord comes again to take us to because this deliverance is going to be much greater than the one that I'm reading about. To the one that I'm reading about will barely be spoken of anymore. All right, then we're going to find out. But verse 9, it says, Eat not of it raw nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head and his legs, and with the puritans thereof." So it's supposed to be cooked whole, the whole thing. Now, we have done that before, all right, when we were able to actually use the gigantic oven at La Cecina many years ago. All right, we had a restaurant. The brothers, some of the brothers' family actually had a restaurant, and we used to have access to it, but they sold that particular restaurant, and they only have the small one now. Times are bad. But it says, "And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and they which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire." All right, so you're not supposed to, you eat in haste. You're not supposed to leave. You don't make a plate to take home to your wife, to your aunt, to your father. You don't do that. All right. It says, "And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, with your shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover." All right. It's the Lord's Passover. All right. And a lot of brothers, did that part. They girded up the loins and had the staffs in their hands. It's because that's what we're asked to do. But once again, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. All right. Because why? Because I already read the law have dominion over us for as long as we live. Let's go to another scripture in the New Testament. Romans 3 and 20. And it reads, therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin. See? So what's this telling you? How do you're not justified by the law because you have to believe in Yahushua. But the law is the knowledge of sin. And how do you sin? By transgressing the law. So therefore, how can some lying piece of tell the congregation that the law is done away with? Tell the people that the law is done away with, when it's telling you even in the New Testament on multiple occasions that is the transgression of the law that makes you a sinner. And then they'll fix their lips to tell you that Jesus came to save the sinners. Well, how do you sin? By breaking the law. You can't have sin without the breaking of the law, which means the law still stands. See, these Christians are losing. And they're really stupid collectively. Besides, the true Christians were the Israelites, the disciples of the Lord anyway. It tells you that in Acts, the 13th chapter, that in Antioch were they first called Christians, all right? Which means they were followers of the Hamashiach. Simple as that. Christian is a transliteration of what they were talking about to the Greek. And the Israelites were not Greek. Matter of fact, the Greeks weren't even Greek. The Japhetic people were Greeks. Just like they stole the name Israel and call themselves by our name, they also call themselves by the sons of Jabin's name, call themselves Greeks. Esau, Edom, the Amalekites especially, have been running and hiding from their true nationality for, quite a few millennium at this point. All right? More than a couple thousand years. Because when Alexander and when they took over Asia and divided it up, called a portion of it the Middle East and called another portion of it Europe, when they took over Asia and certain parts of North Africa, the Egypt and the provinces around it, when they took all that over, they weren't calling themselves Edomites, but yet you can trace Alexander of Macedon back to Amalek, an Amalekite. All right? And Amalek is over in the land of Israel today calling himself Jewish. Facts. All right? Just as prophesied that Amalek, the Lord would have war with Amalek from generation to generation, and the Lord comes back to a world ruled by Amalek, by Edom. All right? And then Amalek is so bogus, he's hogged the blessing and the rulership to himself and has the rest of Edom under a subjugation under him as well. He gave it a little bit, he gave them something called white privilege, which is now worn itself, and that's all faded away. All right, he didn't share the wealth and the power with them. He gave them a little bit of power and a little bit of privilege, and now that's, Let's go just prove a few more scriptures and wrap this up. You're going to go to 1 John. 5 and 3. And maybe 1 John 3 and 1 John 5. Yep, 5 and 3. But this is love. This is how you show love. All right? And if you wonder about the screen, it's just a backdrop. And just to show that, we're in a race to finish our course. And unlike this race, which is a relay race, more of a sprint, they all have something in their hands. This is more of a long distance thing. All right? Because those that run too fast usually run themselves out. All right. But it says, for this is love, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. The law is not grievous, man. And the commandments are what? The law. And it's not just 10 of them. It's 600 and, well, it was 613. The law of the Lord became the sacrifice when he sacrificed himself for us. So, and there's no way we can keep those laws on this side holy. Some because of our own flesh, some because we're under subjugation. We're being oppressed, and the oppressors won't allow us. Because of that oppression, we're blocked from keeping some of the law, which they're excited about, because the more we break and don't keep the law, the more they stay in power. But now that we're rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of our ability, and enough of us, the small sanctuary, the remnant, are calling upon the name, look at what has happened since this gospel went out live over the airways. And that's prophecy being fulfilled. Read Psalms, the 19th chapter. Right, but this is 1 John 3 and 4. And it reads, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is transgression of the law. So these are solid, irrefutable proofs in Scripture. So all you foolish Christians, all right, and not the and to hell with the Christians who are the heathen nations. I'm talking now. This is really to Israelites that refer to themselves as Christian. The law still stands, and you've been lied to, and you've been told the truth. All right, so now you're going to be responsible and possibly fall into the hands of the living power, but you don't want to do that. So while the doors of mercy are yet still open, cleave unto the law, learn the ways, abandon the false name of Christ and Jesus, you know, walk away from, you know, stop eating immediately the abominable foods that are written in the Bible that tells you that they're abominable, abominable, snakes and different beasts that don't have that don't chew the cud, that chew the cud but don't split the hoof, and the bugs of the sea, the spiders of the sea, so to speak, the scorpions of the sea, those crabs and lobsters. A crab and a lobster is no different from a water bug and a scorpion that walks on land. Would you just grab a scorpion or a big tarantula and throw it in the pot, start frying it up? That's what you're doing when you eat crab. That's what you're doing when you eat lobster. You eat all them damn things that eat boo-boo that float down to the bottom from the big fish. They eat the dead carcasses of the animals, that float to the bottom that were eaten by the predators of the sea. That's what you're doing when you eat those things. You think about it. You're eating bugs, and Esau wants you to eat bugs anyway. He's trying to take meat off the menu and restrict you to eating bugs anyway. And a lot of you have already conditioned for it. That's why you got diabetes and so sickly in the heart, having strokes and heart attacks, eating on those super high cholesterol and abominable bugs that live in the water. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Repent, Kwam Yasharala.